So speaking of unemployment, today we're expecting to get new numbers, national numbers, and statewide on unemployment claims. About 294,000 Oklahomans have filed for unemployment since the start of the pandemic here. Yesterday, we saw worse than anticipated first quarter GDP data, and then those dire unemployment numbers set to be released today. A lot of people, a lot of Americans, and a lot of Oklahomans wondering just how much worse is it going to get here?
Yeah, that is the challenge that we have, is watching all the numbers behind us when we're also dealing with tomorrow, trying to slowly reopen the economy. The biggest point right now that we have to get through is the reopening of the economy, that many of these 300,000 Oklahomans that are currently out of work, when their workplaces reopen and they offer them to be able to come back, they can then return back to work, then they're no longer on the employment system, and we can get re-engaged. But even phase one, as the governor has announced, is not everything all the time full on.
Senator, you're on the president's task force that's working to reopen the country. What's that been like?
Well, it's really looking over the president's shoulder is what it really is. It's a large group that, as the task force puts together its ideas, its plans for phasing, we're looking over their shoulder to say what's missing and trying to be able to engage with them and say, have you thought about, and to be able to help them encourage to think through every area, whether it's nonprofits, whether it's churches, whether it's individual businesses, whatever it may be, and try to be able to be as broad as we possibly can. Yeah, quite a few states have already chosen to be able to set phase one in place. Obviously, Oklahoma has done that, Colorado, multiple other states throughout the Midwest and East and the Northwest. So it's been interesting to be able to see states do exactly this phase one, phase two, phase three approach to say, look at the data, examine what's best. If it's not working right now for your state, hold on it. If it is, then start the process of reopening and let's evaluate it. As we know, a quarter of the counties in America have 0 cases right now at all. And so finding those certain regions, certain places, even within a state, to be able to start slowly reopen is the key right now.
What are your hopes or concerns as Oklahoma transitions into this reopening phase, or continues this reopening phase?
Yeah, everyone has the same concerns about health issues of our neighbors. That is a serious issue. And this is that odd balance that I was talking about before, that we have some individuals that are unaffected that are saying, I'm losing my life savings, I'm losing my job. They are in quote unquote non-essential businesses, but it's essential to their family and to their livelihood. And so they're trying to be able to get re-engaged again, but we're also trying to be able to protect people around us. So the challenge that we have now is watching out for the health of others. And I'm most concerned that people just show up at stores, show up at restaurants, show up out there, go back to work and pretend this never happened. And we sit too close, don't wear masks, don't engage. We've got to be able to make sure that we continue to protect each other even as we re-engage.
Well, a couple of hours ago, I had the chance to speak with Senator James Lankford about that Paycheck Protection program. He told me that the application process is much smoother and quicker now, and he is encouraging Oklahomans to use it.
It is not just for small businesses, it's also for nonprofits, and it's also for faith-based nonprofits. That's unique. Typically, Small Business Administration pushes out a lot of nonprofits, but this is designed to be just neutral.
We're getting kind of a double whammy here in Oklahoma with the price of oil dropping so hard. Part of it was because the May contracts on the futures came up at the same time there at the very end of May when things were really starting to drop. Another is we're at capacity for storage, but Congress has been moving towards making some decisions about where some extra storage might be found. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is one of the great challenges during the CARES Act when it passed over a month ago now. When it was in the Senate side, we wanted to be able to purchase additional oil and put it in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, where we have around 77 million barrels of additional capacity where we can store. Now, that wouldn't solve the problem, but it would help short term in our storage issue. That was blocked by the House, and it was a very frustrating move back and forth on it. But the key issue is right now we're still trying to find ways to be able to lease that space so that we just at least make it open to be able to store some of that excess capacity there. Our problem right now is people aren't driving, obviously. And so we have excess gasoline, excess oil all around the world, large amounts that are trying to come into storage, and we don't have a lot of storage left. And so that creates this rock bottom price that's happening right now. And it really won't change until people start driving again.